What is up, you guys? This is HGJ Halloween, and today I am back with another deep dive for a Spirit Halloween theme. You guys really seem to like the last one that I did, which was my first attempt at doing this new series, and you guys really seemed liking me going back in time and taking a look at what was in Spirit Halloween in some of those previous nostalgic years. So today I am back with another one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already for daily uploads. Leave a like and a comment. I would appreciate it so much. Alright, so today's theme we're going to take a closer look at is Spirit Station Z. I used to call it Subway Station Z. I guess it, is officially called Spirit Station Z or Spirit Station Zombies if you read the full sign with the graffiti. And this is what it looks like right here. I personally think, just at first glance, this was a really, really well done theme. Scary, spooky, very Halloween vibes, lots of cool colors to it, but let's dive in. So as you guys can see, this was supposed to resemble a subway station. Actually, the entrance to the subway station, you can see that in the center there is a staircase-like design, but it's not actually a staircase. You didn't actually go down any stairs, but I always thought it was kind of neat how they just had the railings angled downward and like they're sloping on that little concrete section to kind of look as if you were going down into the subway, but of course it was all at the same level. We had two different platforms on the right and the left that were actually up relatively high. It looks like they were up about 1.5 feet off of the ground, and those had 3 different props on each of those, which we'll get into in a second. As you can see, there was Lunging Lily on the left. We had some of the grave grabbers in the front. We also had that shotgun zombie. That's quite a random one that I forgot about, but that was in this as well. We had Lunging Lily, like I said, returning, and we also had the antique dolls in the back corners as well, doing their thing. Didn't have much space to roam around, but they were doing their thing. Also, in those front portions, we see that there is 4 lampposts, which I thought also looked really cool. Definitely was a great added touch. Without them, it would have been lacking something, so I really like that they added those. Those lampposts are on top of the columns at the end of these fences that we see. All of this, by the way, is like cardboard, as they usually are, cardboard and plastic. But yeah, we had these cardboard railings that was kind of like this blue metallic. Everything was very rusted. Everything was very corroded. And this here is a closer up image of that right side, where we see that we had Lunging Lily, an antique doll, and the grabber. Actually, I think this is supposed to be the left side, but some stores were a little bit different. So yeah, they had each of these platforms, and then you would actually walk into underneath of the sign that said Spirit Station Z into what is kind of the subway station, and it was actually supposed to look like a subway car. Now, I don't have a close-up picture of the other side, but as you guys could see in the big out there picture, we had the shotgun zombie where you could shoot him, and then we also had another grave grabber, like the female version, and we had the red antique doll. So kind of, had 3 different of like similar things on each side. This here is a closer-up image of where we were supposed to have that subway in the back, and as I was looking at these images more, it's actually really interesting to see that how much it actually was supposed to look like a subway. I never really paid that much close attention. This was in 2015, by the way. I didn't mention that. This was the back theme for 2015, for those of you that don't know. I was pretty young at the time. I don't think I was paying much attention to all of the detailing, but it's actually really neat to see how much they actually put effort into making this look like a subway car, where you had Twitching Banshee on the far right here, looking like he's actually, or she is actually in the place that the doors open, and then the back wall actually had the theming, like the design of another door on the other side of the train. So the back wallpaper actually made it look like this was a train car. Those are just some details I never really noticed. So Twitching Banshee was on the far right, supposed to look like it was coming out of the door. You had a try me button for him or her, I don't really know. And then then you also had this static zombie prop here. I forget exactly what she's called, but we'll go over it in a minute. And you had broken glass, well, plastic, but looked like broken glass windows for these 2 center cars. On the other center car, you also had the hung up zombie, who I always thought was pretty cool. Never got a chance to get him. And in the very center, you had kind of this like column metal thing with cross beams, where you had the what was she called? Possessed Wall Hanger, returning from 2014. So that was also really cool. I thought that addition of her in the center was cool. So everything was really just kind of laid out perfectly symmetrically and really felt cool. There was just so much detailing, as you can see with the back wall, with what they had as the wallpaper there, once again to look like this destroyed train with zombies peeking in the back window. You see that dude's head popping in with, you know, all sorts of graffiti. The broken glass windows I thought looked really, really cool. They even tried to kind of make, you know, fake cardboard bolts on the edges and stuff. This here's just a closer up image of what that back theming looked like. So yeah, it was supposed to look like those were the windows on the other sides, and you see that there's like other zombies and stuff. The dead walk spirit, so just some, you know, cute stuff written there. And then yeah, we even had doors on the other side where it was supposed to look like the doors were, you know, for the subway. And I thought this overall was a really, really good idea for them to go with, because subways kind of have this, I feel like there's a common theme of them being used in zombie movies, in certain scenes, and it's just very scary, and you're trying to escape on the train. It reminds me of that one Korean zombie movie, I forget, where they were all like on a train. So I don't know if that had been out at the time, but I actually think that the subway idea itself was a really great thing to go with. This is a closer up picture, I believe, actually in the flagship store. I got this off the Spirit Wiki, of where we saw that we had the twitching banshee, who was actually introduced in this year 2015. And the final touch that we had was those electric shaking wires, the live wires. Those definitely added a great touch, especially when, or I guess we didn't have the electric corpse in this, so actually I scratched that. But yeah, I thought those added a really great touch, making this look like the train car was basically destroyed. It's not going anywhere. The wires are all busted out. And yeah, so this is another awesome picture. We see that there's lots of lighting going on. We had like a red and green lighting theme. And Witching Banshee was really freaking scary and sold well, and that's why it actually returned in 2016. But for those of you that don't know, it actually started in the 2015 subway theme, and we saw it come back again in the 2016 back theme as well. On the far left, which was supposed to look like the other door of the subway, we had Smoldering Zombie, which only was in this year, but then obviously you probably noticed that the Smoldering Zombie Groundbreaker was inspired by this. I actually did buy Smoldering Zombie. It was one of my favorites of the year, and so they were very on theme with keeping most of the props in kind of this zombie theme, you know, because it was supposed to be Spirit Station Zombie. So a lot of the props, you know, in some way were a zombie, I guess, except Twitching Banshee. But yeah, you pretty much had a bunch of zombies in these subways, and it just, there was a lot of fine details, of little details that really brought this theme to life. And honestly, as a whole, I thought it looked really, really great. As far as alternate versions for this theme, depending on the size of the store, I don't really see, you know, in my research there was many different versions. I think maybe some of really small stores, like in a mall or something, you may have had just only 2 cars in the back, because as you can see, it's kind of split down the middle, so they probably could have only, you know, had 2 of the cars built, but that wouldn't even really make any sense. But as you can see here, here's just a picture of one that didn't have the front section, because there was that front section with 2 platforms and like the sign you walk through, which kind of gave it a walk-in feel, but it could also just have been presented as more of a compartment display, a 2-dimensional compartment display. And this here gives you a better image of what that back section actually looked like by itself. You had some really interesting detail up at the top there. There was some like columns being held up, as you can see. There's like just interesting textures and details. Yeah, so this is what that looked like with all those props included. Those were all the props that were in it. Again, from the left we had Smoldering Zombie, then we had Hung Up Zombie, Possessed Wall Hanger in the middle, the See-Through Sally, and then Twitching Banshee. So pretty good lineup there in the back with the green and the red lighting. So yeah, this was really spooky. I think sometimes they would take out those front platforms and sign if they didn't have enough space in the back of the store. Other than that, this wasn't a very tall theme. It never got much taller than, it didn't get any taller than this, so it pretty much had space in most stores, which is great. So we've talked about the props that were seen in this theme, but let's do a quick summary of all the ones we had. We had Smoldering Zombie, we had Twitching Banshee, which was introduced in this year. We also had the See-Through Sally girl, who returned from 2014 as well. We had Hung Up Zombie, who pretty much just stayed in this year. We also had Possessed Wall Hanger returning from 2014. We had Lunging Lily returning from 2014. Then we also had this Shotgun Blast Zombie, who I completely forgot about. We had the Grave Grabber. We had the other female version of the Grave Grabber. I forget her name. And then we had those Roaming Antique dolls. We had Roaming Rosie, as well as I believe her name was Lily, the blue one, which returned from 2014. So yeah, that was the lineup. I would say there's definitely been some themes with better lineups, but there's definitely been some themes with worse lineups. So it was a pretty solid lineup, a good mixture of returning and new props. I would say definitely the one downside would maybe be that they had a static prop in the actual center portion of the theme. Probably would have liked to have seen one more moving prop in place of the Sally girl. But you know what? I thought overall they all came together and really were on theme, with it being a subway station zombie. So, you know, everything involved was pretty much something kind of zombified, except for the dolls and Twitching Banshee. Everything else was in some way kind of a zombie. So once again, for those of you that forgot, this was the back theme for 2015, so 1 year prior to the clock tower that I showed you guys, but this was what was in the back of the store. So I would say, I told you guys this isn't like necessarily a review thing, but I will go ahead and give it a final score, just kind of generally compared to the other themes in other years. I would give this one a solid 7.5 out of 10. I think maybe some of the props could have been a little bit better. I remember not being a super huge fan of it at the time, but looking back at the pictures, this was a pretty scary, cool theme. So around a 7.5 or 8 out of 10 is definitely up there with one of their best themes. It's certainly not a flop at all. You know, if they came out with this today, I would be super pleased. So this was a really, really great theme. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comment section below. Please leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Also, let me know which themes you guys want to see next. I'm pretty sure I saw one of you guys recommend this one in my previous video, so that's why I did it today. So thank you so much for the person who did that. But definitely recommend any other ones, guys, from any years, from more recent years, from more past years, whatever you guys want to see. What's a theme you want me to break down and kind of reminisce on a little bit. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next daily upload.